And the video is gone. Hello, and welcome back to It's Just Gamer Squad. And I was actually going to put out a Chat GPT video a couple days ago, just along with the normal vid. You know, might as well put up a part 2, just, you know, going along. And then the video is gone. Gone. Just out of existence. Poof! Nothing, not a thing. Bye. But I thought, well, I still have the thing I did for it. So I thought, we might as well still do it. Here's just me failing for a bit. This part wasn't even in the first video. Neither was this. But then I was like, oh, well, one of my viewers, the original one, I said who it was, now I forgot. Sorry. Sorry, but they gave me they said, hey, I found this cool thing where you can, like, event a movie with the titled country national focus with the following description of national focus, and it gave some stuff, and I was like, actually, I'm gonna do some stuff, and in my other chat, I was trying to figure out exactly how to do it, and eventually, that's zoom. And eventually I figured, okay, well, what if I just do a Ventahoi 4 titled Country National Focus, and it gave me, sure, here's some Hoi 4 focus trees for country and national focus. Country, Australia, national focus, forward defense. Description: as a small island nation in the Pacific, Australia must take a proactive approach to defense in order to protect itself from potential aggressors. The forward defense national focus aims to strengthen Australia's military capabilities and alliances, as well as investing in advanced technology to ensure the country's security and sovereignty. Focus tree. Focus 1. Strengthen alliances. Strengthen the military and economic ties with allied countries in the region, including New Zealand and the United States. Focus 2. Invest in naval power. Expand the Australian Navy to increase its capacity for maritime patrol and defense. Focus 3. Build up Air Force. Invest in advanced fighter planes and technology to enhance Australia's air defense capabilities. Focus 4. Develop advanced weapons. Allocate resources towards the development of advanced weapons technology, including missiles and cyber defense systems. Focus 5. Fortify northern border. Build up defense infrastructure along the Australian northern border, including radar stations and military bases. Create rapid resource force. Establish a rapid response force capable of responding quickly to potential security threats in the region. Focus 7. Expand special forces. Increase the size and capabilities of Australia's special forces units for use in both offensive and defensive operations. And Focus 8. I don't know why I said and Focus 8 when there's a Focus 9 rebel. Host military exercises. Host joint military exercises with allied countries and increase readiness and interoperability, and maintain neutrality. Maintain a neutral stance in international conflict, remaining prepared to defend Australia's interests and sovereignty. I was like, okay, this is good. This is good. This is about what we're looking for when we're making more stuff like this. Like, this all feels realistic to what Australia would do in World War II. And I was like, now, invent a way for Equestria war focus titled Country National Focus with the following description: national flow secret. And it went with, sure, here's an example of a Hoi 4 focus tree for Equestria, an Equestria war mod. Country, Equestria, national focus, harmony through diplomacy. Sounds about right. As a peaceful and harmonious nation, Equestria seeks to maintain friendly relationships with all its neighbors, promote cooperation and diplomacy as the primary means of conflict resolution. The harmony through diplomacy national focuses on expanding Equestria's diplomatic influence, establishing trade relations, and promoting peace and stability throughout the world. Focus tree. Focus 1. Strengthen ties with allies. Strengthen ties with emerging nations, such as the Crystal Empire and the Griffonia Empire, through diplomatic missions and trade agreements. And this part I was like, oh, wait, the Griffonian Empire is allied with Equestria in this world? How interesting. What's this made-up world that the AI is kind of making up here? Focus 2. Establish trade routes. Develop trade relations with neighboring countries and establish new trade routes to expand Equestria's economic influence. Promote cultural exchange. Encourage cultural exchange programs with other nations to promote understanding and friendship. Host diplomatic summits. Host international summits to discuss issues of mutual concern and promote peaceful resolutions to conflicts. Focus 5. Establish peacekeeping force. Establish a peacekeeping force to assist in resolving conflicts and preventing violence. Focus 6. Expand diplomatic corps. Expand the diplomatic corps to increase Equestria's presence and influence in foreign countries. Focus 7. Invest in soft power. Increase investment in cultural and education programs to promote Equestrian values and ideals abroad. Focus 8. Strengthen international institutions. Advocate for the strengthening of international institutions, such as the United Nations of Equestria, which I think is some sort of alliance like the United Nations in real life, to promote peaceful cooperation and resolve conflicts through diplomacy. Focus 9. Conduct humanitarian missions. Provide aid and support to countries in need during times of crisis, such as natural disasters or refugees crisis. And I was thinking, man, this actually feels more realistic to, like, lore of actual show Equestria than the mod. Like, this feels like it's really going for, yeah, this is what Equestria would be if you just plopped it in the real world. Except, what's going on with the Minghalas with the Griffonian Empire? And then I asked, why are Equestria and the Griffonian Empire friendly nations at the start of the game? In the Equestria War mod for Hoi 4, Equestria and the Griffonian Empire are friendly nations at the start of the game, because they share a common interest in maintaining peace and stability in the region. Equestria is a pacifistic nation that seeks to promote harmony and friendship with all nations, while the Griffonian Empire is a powerful expansionist country that seeks to assert its dominance in the region. Yes, that's, because they share common interest, very, very common interest in maintaining peace and stability, yeah. Although Equestria and the Griffonian Empire have different ideologies and values, they've managed to maintain friendly relations through diplomacy and trade. The two nations have a history of working together on issues of mutual concern, such as combating piracy, which is a big thing in this world, and maintaining stable borders. Additionally, they share a common threat in the form of the Changeling Swarm, which poses a danger to both countries. Like, both countries? Where's all this set then if they're both being threatened by the Changeling Swarm? Overall, Equestria and Griffonian Empire are friendly nations at the start of the game because they've found it advantageous to maintain a stable and peaceful relationship, despite their differences in ideology and values. Who do the Equestrians and Griffonian Empire fight in the Great War? Here's the problem, is there was actually one message that I read through, it started to come through, and then it deleted itself. Like, it was a really interesting message. It was about the Great War. It was talking about why they were allied and how they fought a great war together, and I was like, oh shoot, that's really cool. But I guess that's just gone forever, that half-done message, since it failed to generate completely. So that's cool. Who did the Equestrian and Griffonian Empire fight in the Great War? In the Equestria War mod for Hoi 4, Equestria and the Griffonian Empire fought against a coalition of nations known as the Entente in the Great War. The Entente was made up of several countries, including the Changeling Swarm, the Diamond Dogs, and several other minor nations. The Great War was a massive conflict that engulfed the entire country. Here's the thing, though, about this top one, is it's very similar to this next one, but they say, the word significant, what is it? However, Equestrian and Griffonian were eventually able to push back and achieve a decisive victory. But in that message that's no longer there, they were actually fought to a stalemate. The war ended in a stalemate, and not with a victory for either side. So I told the AI that. Once again, yeah, you guys don't really get to see that message that said that, so oops. But, you said the Great War ended a stalemate, not with a victory. I apologize for the confusion. Following the ceasefire, peace conference was held, but the negotiations were complicated by the numerous factions involved and their conflicting interests. The resulting peace treaty was a patchwork of compromising concessions that left many issues unresolved, leading to ongoing tensions and potential future conflicts. Who did the Equestrians and Griffonian Empire fight in the Great War? Now, this one's pretty much the same as this one up there. In the Equestria War mod for Hoi 4, Equestria and the Griffonian Empire fought against a coalition of nations, that is the Entente in the Great War. The Entente was made up of several countries, including the Changeling Swarm, the Diamond Dogs, which are apparently allies in this world, and probably explains why Equestria and the Griffonian Empire were stuck working together, because they're working together, and several other minor nations. The war was a massive conflict that engulfed the entire continent of Griffonia, and I was like, wait, just Griffonia? What do you mean? and lasted for several years. The Entente forces made significant gains early on, but Equestria and the Griffonian Empire were eventually able to push back and hold their ground. The war ended in a stalemate, with neither side achieving a decisive victory. The Great War had a significant impact on the political and social landscape of Griffonia and set the stage for the event that followed in the mod. It's worth noting that the Equestria War mod has a very extensive and detailed lore, and there are many different events and paths that can unfold, depending on the player's choices, actions, of the game, of course. You always gotta be the choices, actions, of the game. You got that a whole bunch of the last one. So while the above description provides a general overview of the Great War, there may be other factors and events that come into play depending on the specific game session. And then I was like, okay, let's learn about the Griffonian Empire then. Event to Hui for Equestria War focus titled A Griffonian Empire of National Focus, with the following description of the national focus. Griffonian Empire, modernize the army. With this focus, the Griffonian Empire focuses on modernizing its military and improving its defense capabilities. The Empire's leadership recognizes that in the post-Great War world, military technology and tactics are rapidly evolving, and it is essential to keep up with these changes to remain competitive. The focus allows the Griffonian Empire to invest in new weapons, equipment, and training programs, such as improving artillery and armor, developing new Air Force capabilities, and training elite units. This investment will significantly increase the effectiveness of Griffonian Empire's army and allow it to be more capable of defending its borders and asserting its interests on the world stage. Additionally, the focus allows the Griffonian Empire to establish closer ties with the military powers such as Equestria, who have advanced military capabilities, allowing for greater cooperation, sharing knowledge, and technology. This cooperation can lead to military exercises, joint training programs, and other military exchanges. Overall, the Modernize the Army focus will strengthen the Griffonian Empire's military capabilities and help ensure they can remain a dominant military power in the region, which is essential in the rapidly changing political landscape of Griffonia. I was like, wait, so Equestria and Griffonian Empire seem to be pretty dang close. Does the Griffonian Republic even exist in this world? Because I feel like if they did, they'd be closer to Equestria. But in the Equestria War mod for Holy 4, the Griffonian Republic is a possible outcome of a Griffonian Empire campaign, but it depends on the choices made by the player during the game. If the Griffonian Empire is destabilized due to political instability, economic troubles, or military defeats, the Empire may collapse and a Republican government may be established in its place. This government is known as the Griffonian Republic and is characterized by a democratic political system and focus on personal freedoms and liberties. Civil liberties. The Griffonian Republic is one of the several possible outcomes of the mod, and the specific outcome depends on the player's choices and actions during the game. This is very interesting to me because it means that Griffonian Empire is probably still mostly united, and there hasn't been a Republican revolution yet, or if there was, it was completely put down quickly to the point where Equestria never really got time to care about it. So this means that yes, a Griffonian Republic can happen, but at this point it hasn't, which I find very curious. So that was like, okay, well, here's a nation that's actually been mentioned. There hasn't been too many mentions, so I'll check out the Changeling Swarm and see what they're about in this world. Assimilate the Resistance. With this focus, the Changeling Swarm seeks to consolidate its control over newly acquired territories and to assemble any resistance to its rule. The Swarm's leadership recognizes that resistance groups and rebellions can undermine its authority and pose a significant threat to its long-term goals. The focus allows the Changeling Swarm to launch a comprehensive campaign to identify, infiltrate, and neutralize any resistance group within its borders. The Swarm will utilize its extensive network of spies, informants, and undercover agents to root out any pockets of resistance and eliminate them through a combination of propaganda, intimidation, and force. In addition to consolidating its control over newly acquired territories, the Changing Swarm will also be able to integrate these territories into political and economic systems. This integration will involve establishing new government institutions, infrastructure projects, and economic programs that align with the Swarm's goals. Overall, the Assimilate the Resistance focus will help the Changeling Swarm to maintain a tight grip on power, ensure that it can continue to expand its influence in Griffonia. However, the focus may also lead to further unrest or resistance if the Changeling Swarm's methods are too harsh, or if the assimilation progress is poorly managed. This feels like exactly just the game. What happens if you win as the Changeling? Just Changelings? Like, this is just what happens. It looks like this is an event from later on after they've conquered already. And also, continue to expand its influence in Griffonia. And then I said, is Equestria in Griffonia? Yes, in the Equestria War mod for Hoi 4, Equestria is a nation located on the continent of Griffonia. Equestria is one of the major powers in the mod. It is known for its advanced technology, strong military, and magical abilities. In the mod's lore, Griffonia is a continent to the east of Equestria, which makes no sense, and is home to a diverse array of nations, including Griffonian Empire, the Changeling Swarm. So the Changeling Swarm is also on Griffonia, the River Republic, and many others. A mod features a complex political landscape with various alliances, conflicts, and each nation seeks to achieve its own goals while navigating the shifting balance of power in Griffonia. So it seems like if there are other continents, there's not many, if any. I think that my theory is that this is a Pangea world of Equestria War. And that's why everything is about Griffonia. There's nothing about Equus or anything like that. It's all in Griffonia. And I was like, okay, they've mentioned the Diamond Dogs. This is one of the few others they've mentioned, so I'll check them out. And then Hoi 4, Hoi 4, Equestria War Focus, titled Diamond Dogs, National Focus, with following description of the National Focus. And I was like, okay, this one's literally just what happens in the mod with one of their focuses. Unearth new resources. With this focus, the Diamond Dogs seek to expand their mining operations, find new resources to fuel their economy and technological advances. The only difference between this one and the one over there is it doesn't involve slaves. The Diamond Dogs leadership recognizes their reliance on mining for the economy and technology and makes them vulnerable to resource shortages and fluctuating in global resource prices. The focus allows the Diamond Dogs to invest heavily in prospecting and mining operations, both in their territory and in foreign lands. I suppose that's also different. This investment will allow the Diamond Dogs to discover new and valuable resources such as rare minerals, precious metals, and gems that can be used to fuel their economy and technological advancements. The Diamond Dogs will also seek to establish closer ties with the other nations and companies that have vested interest in resource extraction, such as Equestria and the Griffonian Empire. These alliances will allow the Diamond Dogs to access new technology and expertise and investment capital to expand their mining operations. Okay, that's actually interesting. We saw that they were against the Griffonian Empire in Equestria in the Great War. So this is actually, I didn't even notice this last time when I first recorded this video. This is actually kind of insinuating that there's a path where you can betray your new allies and say, actually, I'm going to work with the Equestria Griffonia. They're powerful. They were able to hold off a huge alliance network. I'm going to work with them anyways. And for the looks of it, there's a chance that there's definitely at least a chance they say yes, and then they join their like weird 3 nation alliance. It would become 3 after just 2. Well, technically it's already 3. There's just the Crystal Empire, which is probably still a puppet state of Equestria, but would be considered one of the core 3. Overall, the unearthed new resources focus will help the Diamond Dogs solidify their positions as major mining powers in Griffonia and ensure that they have resources that need to continue their technological advancement and economic growth. However, the focus may also lead to tensions with other nations that may view the Diamond Dogs mining operation as a threat to their own interests or environmental concerns. Yeah, it was like, okay, well, they mentioned the River Republic in one of these events. Don't remember where, but they mentioned it somewhere. And I was like, okay, well, sure, let's learn about the River Republic then. River Republic, strengthen the Navy. With this focus, the River Republic seeks to establish itself as a major naval power in Griffonia. The River Republic's leadership recognizes that its geographic and economic interests make it particularly vulnerable to seaborne threats, such as piracy and foreign naval incursions. So I'm assuming that they're actually by the ocean and not just rivers in this world. Probably still have some of its expansion to the east in comparison, like it still holds on to Mbusia, maybe a little bit more than just that. The focus allows the River Republic to invest heavily in its navy, both in terms of personnel and equipment. The River Republic will work to expand its naval bases and shipyards, modernize its fleet, and recruit and train new sailors to man its ships. The focus will also allow the River Republic to establish closer ties with the other naval powers, such as Equestria, and to develop new naval doctrines and strategies to counter emerging threats. In addition to enhancing its naval capabilities, the River Republic will also work to strengthen its diplomatic and economic ties with other nations in Griffonia. The Republic will seek to establish itself as a neutral mediator in regional conflicts, as well as a hub for regional trade and commerce. Overall, the strengthened Navy focus will help the Republic protect its economic interests and security by establishing itself as a major naval power in Graphonia. However, the focus may also lead to tensions with other naval powers or nations that view the Republic's expansion as a threat to its own interest. And then I was like, okay, what other things have been mentioned? Oh, there's pirate nations. And then I was like, whoa, it keeps going. And there's not just one, like in the base game. There's 4 here. Though technically, I think with Zebraca added, there's 2 pirate nations in the base game now. The one's a puppet state that used to be a pirate nation. Anyways, in the Equestria War mod for Hoi 4, there are several pirate nations that operate in the waters of Gravonia, which are Maryland, which means New Maryland, if it ever existed as New Maryland, is now a pirate nation. It either got by the Equestrians, rebelled, and then, because it does say fierce independence and resistance to authority. So my guess is that they got their independence as a pirate nation already before the start of the game, which is really crazy because, yeah, it's in the southwestern coast. A pirate nation located on the southwestern coast of Graphonia, Maryland is a loose confederation of pirates and smugglers who prey on merchant ships and conduct raids on coastal settlements. Maryland is known for its fierce independence and resistance to authority. Longsword. Located in the south-central region of Gravonia, Longsword is a pirate nation that controls a vast network of island hideouts and secret ports. Longsword is known for its highly organized and efficient raiding operations, which have made it one of the most feared pirate groups in the region. Oh yeah, because they're right beside this one and this one. So they better be feared because there's 3 huge ones right beside each other. Based on the island of Olenia in the southeastern part of Graphonia, Stormhold is a pirate nation that specializes in hit-and-run attacks on merchant ships and naval vessels. Stormhold is known for its speed and agility, and ships are among the fastest and most maneuverable in the region. Okay, so I think in the southeastern, they are just on an island called Olenia. So they're probably a smaller group, but they're speed and agile, so they're fast. But so most of the southeast is probably not pirates, but there's a pirate island. The south center, they have a vast network of island hideouts and secret ports. So there's lots of islands in the south central part of Graphonia, as well as not only do they control like multitudes of islands, they also have multiple ports that are officially pirate owned in the south central. And also in the southwest, Maryland is a confederation of pirates and smugglers. So my guess for Maryland is they're about the size of Maryland in actual game, maybe a little smaller, but they're pirates. And then a pirate nation located in northwestern part of Graphonia, Tanabria, is a collection of raiders and corsairs who operate in the frigid waters of the North Seas. Tanabria is known for its use of dark magic and the undead, as well as its willingness to attack any ships that cross its path. If the northeastern dark magic undead nation is still there, they are totally allied to the pirate nation right to the northwest of it. This world seems to be like there's actually a good amount of peace between the major powers at this point after the Great War, at least for the moment. But they seem to be the biggest threat to this world is just piracy, which is very, very strange. Like, out of everything in the world that could be the biggest threat, it's just pirates. Like, that's really the biggest thing I've seen in this game, and that's why a lot of nations seem to be talking about either pirates or improving their navy. It seems like pirates are the big deal here, which is so interesting to me. But that's all I had on these. I'm sorry I couldn't have my initial reactions since those are gone now, but I hope you enjoyed this anyway. Hopefully I can continue doing these. And hopefully I can actually do my initial reaction in future ones. But if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.